This CBS host, she just proved, ladies and gentlemen, how little the mainstream media knows and understands about history. I say this, by the way, as somebody who was a history major at Columbia University back in the day when Columbia University was still a decent university. I can't say that now. I really can't, and it saddens me. But I say this because I'm pretty damn steeped in history, if you would. I love it. I love my job because we're here on the front lines of history every single day. I'm living, breathing it with all of you. But this woman doesn't understand her history. And so when J.D. Vance went over to Germany and he met with somebody who the left just can't stand, right? It's the far right party in Germany, and they're making all of these comparisons saying that they're basically Nazis because that's what you do in Germany. Just like, you say the same kind of stuff here if you're trying to cancel the other side because the other side is immediately on its heels. I mean, this woman who runs this party, her name, and just to give you a little bit of background, and this is coming from Perplexity AI, her name is Elisabeth Weidel. She was born 1979 in Güstrow, Germany. She's a politician and economist. She studied economics at the University of Beirut, graduating in 2004 as one of its top students, later earned a doctorate in international development in 2011. Her dissertation focused on China's pension system. She lived in China for 6 years where she learned to speak fluent Mandarin. She worked, like I did actually, at Goldman Sachs. She also worked at Bank of China, Alliance Global Investors before becoming a freelance business consultant. She also worked for Rocket Internet and Fudura. She joined the far right Alternative for Germany, AfD party in 2013, has been its co-chair since 2022. Weidel is openly gay, and she lives with her Sri Lankan Swiss partner in life, and their 2 sons in Switzerland. Her personal life contrasts, it says, with some of her party's conservative stances. But I'm just saying, this doesn't exactly fit the profile of, say, a Nazi as Margaret Brennan on CBS tried to suggest. And then she went so far as to say that the entire reason Nazism was able to exist was because they hid behind the idea of the freedom of the press. And it was free press that led to Nazism, and that the Nazis used free press. And I'm like, what is she saying? Again, honey, you need to go back to school. Of course, school these days might even teach you this crazy stuff. Honestly, bonkers. And by the way, it comes out of this CRT nonsense that I won't bore you with. But here's Margaret Brennan. She gets completely smacked down by one Marco Rubio, University of Miami Law School graduate, who basically put her in her place and did it fast. Ladies and gentlemen, this is epic. It needs to happen more. Watch.
Well, he was standing in a country where free speech was weaponized to conduct a genocide. And he met with the head of a political party that has far-right views and some historic ties to extreme groups. The context of that was changing the tone of it. And you know that the censorship was specifically about the right.
No, I have to disagree with you. Free speech was not used to conduct a genocide. The genocide was conducted by an authoritarian Nazi regime that happened to also be genocidal because they hated Jews and they hated minorities and they hated those that they had a list of people they hated, but primarily the Jews. There was no free speech in Nazi Germany. There was none. There was also no opposition in Nazi Germany. They were a sole and only party that governed that country. So that's not an accurate reflection of history.
Boom. No, it's not an accurate reflection of history. I mean, that doesn't stop them. And by the way, what's really scary is what they're trying to do right now with the censorship that's out there, from this representative in Massachusetts to what we're hearing from AOC to what we did hear and continue to hear from Chuck Schumer. More on that. But first, quick note on 76 Research, my own financial research company that I started with my very dear friend Rob Horton. We got model portfolios right now. Invest in MAGA, invest in yourself, invest in America in the future. We have an American resilience growth portfolio for you there, 10 to 15 stocks in each one. We also have an inflation protection portfolio for you, and we have a basic income builder portfolio for those of you that want to retire someday and still have some money adjusted for inflation. You're going to need it, right? Listen, it's all there for you. You can go to 76research.com, click on model portfolios. If you want to just sort of tiptoe in, get the 76 report. code word dollar for a limited time, although I keep throwing it out there. Rob is probably going to kill me because I want to give it to you. Code word dollar, DOLLAR. This is mine. This is not an ad. This is just my baby that I started with him. And by the way, like, our numbers are just fantastic. And I'm so proud of this. Let me see if I can pull this up for you, because the portfolios have just been killing it vis-a-vis the S&P. And when you look at some of these picks and some of these names, I think it tells the whole story there. So really just a tremendous opportunity to be investing in this future, which is going to grow and grow and grow, because finally we got some decent people in charge. And things are changing in real time in just a spectacular way. So I don't think I've ever been so optimistic. But I am concerned that the left wants to keep doing what they're doing on speech. I mean, here's Ayanna Pressley out of Massachusetts censoring the American people. She wants to censor the American people. By the way, they're taking their cues from Germany, where it's a crime to insult someone to their face or online. And the penalty's worse. Online. 60 Minutes just did a big piece on this, and they were rounding someone up, sending the police after somebody because they put out a meme. That's how bad it is in Europe. And Ayanna Pressley, the congresswoman from Massachusetts, she kind of likes that idea, right?
Look, let me tell you something. I'll take a bit of umbrage here. I'll speak on behalf of my colleagues. I think I can say we are all willing to work with anyone who's serious about doing the work of censoring the American people and advancing progress. That's right. But they are not serious.
You heard that, right? We're willing to work with anybody who's willing to work with us to censor the American people. I mean, forget about that little thing called freedom of speech in the Constitution that basically says there's no way. There's just no way, right? Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof or abridging the freedom of speech or of the press or of the right of the people, for goodness sakes. And yet this isn't stopping them. This is what they're trying to do. They're modeling themselves after Germany right now. They're holding this up and saying, well, look at what they're doing, because they got to get rid of that party that they don't like, run by the lesbian woman who has 2 children with her partner and is like, not exactly the poster child of the far right, but because she believes in freedom of speech, they're trying to equate that somehow with Nazism. This is bad, guys. Let me go to the sound on tape of AOC, okay, wanting to rein in media.
You know, I do think that several members of Congress in some of my discussions have brought up media literacy, because that is a part of what happened here. And we're going to have to figure out how we rein in our media environment so that you can't just spew disinformation and misinformation. It's one thing to have differing opinions, but it's another thing entirely to just say things that are false. And so that's something that we're looking into.
Okay, so again, like Germany, might as well just be able to arrest people. Yeah, they're having a hard time ever since Elon went out and bought X, because back in the day, they used to be able to control all this, right? They had people from the State Department influencing and emailing people at Twitter and Meta and the whole lot of it, saying, well, this can be said, that can't be said. I mean, they were paying people off. You got 51X spooks that put their little letter into Politico that was getting $8.2 million from the federal government, USAID, for those Political Pro subscriptions. And then you had people like Chuck Schumer that would publicly go out and attack anybody that offered a different viewpoint. I mean, yours truly, right? I used to work at Fox Business. Some of you may remember me from there, or CNBC or Bloomberg, but a lot of you might have known me on at 8 o'clock. I was on the redheaded stepchild network, Fox Business, opposite Tucker Carlson on Fox News. But one of the things that really just did not sit well was when I called out this coronavirus nonsense. I warned everybody. I said, you know what they're going to do? They're going to shut down the economy, which you shouldn't be doing. This is crazy. The market's tanking 2,000 points, for goodness sakes, because CNN wants to make this into their new plane story. That should not be happening. And I also pointed out exactly what they would do, which is that they would manipulate the situation so as to effectively crucify Donald Trump politically, which is exactly what they did. And then suddenly somehow I lost my show. You think about that, right? I mean, hey, it all worked out. Reminder to subscribe, share, like, all the good stuff. But, and by the way, I do it all over again because I am so passionate about reporting the truth and allowing you to hear what I'm really thinking. And Tucker, he also wanted to report the truth and his view of what he believed, for example, was going down on J6, and Chuck Schumer wasn't having it. Here's Chuck Schumer back in the day saying, basically, you got to fire the guy, Fox, because of what he did.
Millions of Americans tuned in to one of the most shameful hours we have ever seen on cable television. Fox News host Tucker Carlson ran a lengthy segment last night arguing the January 6th Capitol attack was not a violent insurrection. I don't think I've ever seen a primetime cable news anchor manipulate his viewers the way Mr. Carlson did last night.
Thank you, David Lorenzo. I'm just writing back to him. We are live right now. And he said, you know what? You leaving that network, Trish, was the best thing that ever happened to you. I love you on this channel, and I appreciate that. You know what I love about this channel is that it's just us. It's just me. There's no middle management looking at my scripts. In fact, we don't even have any scripts. Right? Which is even better. So a lot of you are like, wow, like I really, like, I just like you better in this format. I like me better in this format because in the other, it's so restricted. And, you can only go within the margins here, there, and everywhere within the context of what they're saying. The funny thing for me is that I actually had management approve my script, my notorious script that somehow really angered a lot of people on the left and the right. But hey, you know what? I'm just a realist. And I understand that, people were panicked and we didn't know a lot back then. But the one thing I did know was that the market shouldn't be trading off 2,000 points in a day and that we needed a strong economy in order to fight that thing. And I also knew that they were going to take advantage of whatever they could in terms of trying to derail Trump and his presidency. But I'm also going to tell you this, guys, and this is actually an important point. You know what? We are better off as a nation. I'm better off, right, over here. But we as a nation collectively are better off with Donald Trump having gone away and now having come back. Because he is that much stronger and he has the will of the people behind him. And he has had 4 years to have his lawyers and brilliant, Stephen Miller is really, really smart. I'm going to play you some sound from him coming up. People that actually could examine where we were constitutionally speaking, and in order to get some of the things through, they had to have the planning process. So they spent the last 4 years with their heads down, planning. Donald Trump took it, kept taking all those, Letitia's going after him, Alvin Bragg's going after him, Fannie Willis is going after him, Jack Smith is going after him, and he took it all in stride, and he fought back. They weren't going to stop him. And you know what? Now he comes back stronger than ever. Stronger than ever. I come back stronger than ever. We got more viewers over here. I mean, I was on the Redheaded Stepchild Network where they don't get a lot of viewers, let's just say. Maybe you guys would turn over during the commercial and check out Fox Business. But the truth be told, it was definitely the Redheaded Stepchild Network, which means I have more viewers here and more influence here than there, which is incredible. And this is the future, right? This is new media, and that's what's exciting, and that's what's scary. Really, really scary to the left. The left that wants to manipulate and control the media, the left that is now emulating Germany and saying, why can't we be like them when you get arrested for the meme?